Welcome back to the train room. For my next project, I decided I would like to get a little bit more of the layout finished. So rather than get on with the next structure, I decided to detail the area around National Widget power plant and office building. So follow along with me and I'll show you what I've been up to. One of the things that remained undone for all this time was the basement entry. I'd built this, I hadn't painted it or installed it or got the windows in. I needed to make sure that I had some positive location for the building so that it didn't move. Well, in most cases a building that is an eighth of an inch out of position will still look okay, but here this had to look as though it's part of the same wall as the building that goes on top of it, so it has to be absolutely perfectly located, otherwise it will always look silly. Anyway, this is now firmly glued in place. The glue set up overnight. I'm going to go and get the building back and then I'm going to fill in this hole, and then I think I can landscape the area. So the building just fits in here, slide it back against that styrene, and then the concrete pad for the fire escape stops it coming forward, so together they hold it in place firmly. There are a few things that I didn't get quite finished with the power plant when I built it. Most obvious, of course, is the ground cover around it, but I'm waiting on that because I want to build a cold storage area in here so that they have a stockpile. And obviously it made sense to wait until the adjacent building was finished before I built it, just in case I ended up needing a little bit extra space. So now I've taken measurements of the area I have and it's time to start building it. Well, the cold storage area is really simple. It's just a styrene box. I scribed it to represent planking. I put some framing round. I used scale 6x12s, and I put some nut bolt and washer castings every 5 feet along the front because I figure it's going to need some tie rods to stop the weight of the cold pushing the fences over. I have screwed a piece of 1/2 inch plywood to the benchwork, and that just fits over there like that, so it'll be properly located. And then this will also hold one end of the power plant in place. The other end I'll arrange something else. Next task is to paint it, and then I got to fashion a coal insert to go in the top. The cold storage area is quite simple. It's just 40 thou styrene. I painted it just like I do the crates with the light wood colour, and then I covered it with a wash of light grey, and then coated it with the black soot weathering powder, getting as much to stick as I possibly could. Then I picked out the tie rods in rust colours and rubbed some more stains down below that. That just fits on over here. And then the coal, this is just a block of wood that I shaped with a rasp. That'll go in there, and then I will cover it with real coal. I've been working on the downpipes for the power plant here. Had a couple of false starts, but eventually what I did was put the brackets long on a piece of double-sided tape at the right spacing, put a tiny dot of gel type super glue on each one, and then left the pre-shaped wires on top of them under some weights, and I think that has worked. I left these over long. I'm just going to cut them off now. I'm hoping that the glue joint is stronger than the tape, otherwise it's going to be back to the drawing board. I think I'm going to spray paint it still attached to the paper, since I don't need any paint on the back anyway. Well, I painted these two downpipes black, and I needn't have worried about it coming off the double-sided tape. I just bent the tape back and it popped right off, and this is just about perfect actually. It is straighter and more accurate than I expected. So I'm really pleased with the way it's come out. Now I've just got to get it glued to the building nice and straight. I think I'm going to use gel type super glue so it has a little bit of consistency to it. That way, if they don't all touch firmly, the joints will still be secure. I'm going to put the tiniest spot on each bracket. As I said before, this is black styrene, it's not paint, so it should stick. Right. And the top hopper was cut to fit right between these two bits of protruding brickwork. I'm just going to eyeball this straight using the grout lines in the brickwork as a guide. Okay, one down, one to go. Well, I spent the last few days detailing the area around the National Widget power plant and office building. I've got the cold storage area finished. I had a glue spill along here, so I came back and redusted it with the soot powder. It didn't cover it as I thought it would, but I think I like the effect. There's a lot of staining here and some more there. I'm thinking that it looks like rain of a few days ago is still soaking parts of the boards, whereas most of it's dried off. I got some trees in behind there to hide the transition to the backdrop. I must have gone through at least 20 trees before I found 3 that would fit there. I stuffed some bushes in here to hide that gap. Those aren't glued down because I don't want them to get under the buildings if I have to take them out. I put the rail stop in. That's a titchy rail stop. I'm not sure that I like them. They look great, but they're a real pain to assemble. I've got both the buildings bedded in. I put spilt coal around both sides of the coal dump. I've got this gentleman standing here with the grey suit. His pose is just screaming out at me, one of authority, so I'm assuming he's the power plant manager. You know, his pose just says to me, this is my building. I've got a few ladders lying around, a drum, other workers going about their business, a scrap pile, a couple of 55-gallon drums, a squashed one. What else have I done? Oh, I put the downpipes in, both ends of the power plant. I got spill blocks where they land. Around the spill blocks I've put a lot more greenery because I figured with the ground always being wet there, the grass would stay greener later in the season. I've also weathered the roof of the office building. That was just an all over pale green representing tarnished copper. I've now got rust spills on all the apparatus and soot stains. I'm liking it a lot better. There were a few things on my list that I didn't do. I was planning on putting a steam pipe from the power plant to the office building. I might still put it in, but at the moment I'm not quite sure where I want to put it. I have options. I can put it from window to window, I can put it through the walls, or I can have it through a window at one side and through the wall at the other. Also on my to-do list was some kind of apparatus on top of this roof here to hide the seam in the backdrop. I'm not sure whether I'm going to bother with that now. I'm not finding it very noticeable when I'm in the room. Of course you can see it now because I've drawn your attention to it. And this backdrop flat here hides the first 3 inches anyway, so I've got to get quite a lot of height in whatever I put on there before it has any effect at all. So I'm going to leave that off for now. I might come back to it later once I've got all the roof details from the next building in place. I'm also missing is the fence. It's going to come around the end of the spur all the way along here, a gate across here, and then all the way down to the bridge. But that's a project for another day, another month. For the time being, I'm just going to call this area done.